Hey, thanks for joining us. I'm David Ramsington, Senior DevOps Engineer here at Tensure. We're here to talk about tech we love. James, want to introduce yourself and kick us off?
Sure. So, hi, I'm James Dreier. I'm also Senior DevOps Engineer at Tensure. And for things we love, we're going to go back and forth. We got some major products we're going to talk about, and then we got just some little utilities that have been a life changer. Kick it off. First little utility that's been a life changer, GCloud Bulk Export. It's part of the GCloud SDK. It allows you to actually export the current state of your infrastructure into a variety of outputs. My favorite is I can output into actual Terraform and HCL and actually get that out. It comes with the nice little strings that help you import it and everything else. It's amazing.
Yeah, that's rad. I was just thinking about how if you were trying to retrace your steps after you maybe have done something quickly, and getting the exact code that you can use to do a Terraform import is just awesome. So my thing that I wanted to share first was Kubernetes event-driven autoscaling. It's this little framework that lets you use different metrics than just CPU and memory usage on your containers to drive what scales your deployments. I think it's really awesome because it lets you replace the dialing of knobs based on kind of unexpected workloads. It really helps you deal with something like your site suddenly goes viral and you have to deal with bursts that you do not expect, right? If you base the metrics on, oh, if I'm getting this many requests or my Redis cache is listed really high, so then I can use that to drive it to a different number than like a computational number instead of just a static setting in your autoscaler.
Yeah, that one's really awesome. I actually need to look into that. I got a use case right now where we need to scale on requests. So that might help me solve that problem. Next one I want to get into, JSON Incremental Digger. This is a GitHub repo from his username's SIMEJI. Cool little Golang CLI that lets you dig into your JSON. So there's so many times when you're trying to work with Insomnia or what's that one I used to use, Postman, and you get this giant JSON response back, and you're trying to troubleshoot and everything else, and you need to dig through it. When you got a mile long JSON, it's hard to get through. So JSON Incremental Digger actually lets you step through the layers and see what you're playing with.
I'll have to check that out. I know I've usually APIs return the response without any white space, so it's not really human readable. You have to strain your eyes really hard to try to see where the curly braces and the square brackets start. And anyways, yeah, that sounds like a lifesaver. The next one that I wanted to share is Ansible, and not purely because Jeff Gerling says that I should, because he is my hero, but I do think that he is kind of right, like one of the great DevOps people to look up to. And one of the great things about Ansible playbooks is they're designed to be idempotent so that you can write it and make sure that whatever your desired configuration is getting applied to your server or your cluster. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I love Ansible. So much less pain than Puppet. Our next one. So this one is bookmark management. We look at stuff all the time. We're researching constantly. And so this next one is called Raindrop from raindrop.io. It gives you bookmarks on a whole nother level, gives you tagging, linking. You have actual snippets of the site that you bookmarked inside the bookmark tool. So you know what you're looking at without having to go to it. So it's more contextual for you. I bookmark 100 things a day and trying to figure out what I bookmarked and what I need to go back and read. This makes it workable. Unlike Chrome bookmarks, something where you just have a long list and you get lost.
Yeah, James shared this with me the other day when we were talking about giving this talk. And I had realized I had at least 30 tabs open on my browser and maybe a couple more windows with tapped on them too. And I've since then trimmed it down to about 8 tabs. You should be proud. Lastly, James, you want to finish it off here?
Yeah. So the last one that I want, this just hit 1.0 like 5 days ago. So Rancher Desktop, they just hit their first full release. It's a replacement for Docker Desktop. It gives you Kubernetes. It allows version switching in Kubernetes. It'll run on the Containerd or the Dockerd runtime. So depending on where you're at in your development lifecycle with Kubernetes, if you haven't moved up to 1.23 yet, you don't really need Containerd yet. So you can still stick with Dockerd until you're ready to make that transition. It's a neat little tool. I've hit a couple bugs in it already, but I mean, it released 5 days ago. We're going to have bugs. We're going to have some pain points to work through. But so far, it's been awesome.
Yeah, I mean, what a great timing for that because of the Docker desktop licensing thing. It's I mean, every company's got to make money somehow, but it's such a problem with Docker being everybody's go-to tool with containerization. So I'm really glad that there's now another option.
Yes, certainly.
So that finishes us off for Tech We Love for DevOps. Tune in next week as we talk about Tech We Love in data and AI. Thanks again for joining us.
Thanks, everyone.